Okay, so this whole video was actually meant to make a Halsey wig, her new braids, but then it didn't work out the way I wanted to, so I'm trying this yarn braided method. So, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen the orange and pink wig that I made for my new doll, Amani Deja. And so this is basically the tutorial for that wig. So here it is for those of you who wanted it. It does take a long time. It took me around 3 weeks to make, but this is the process of it. But I just wanted to explain everything because I started it out to make a Halsey wig and then it didn't really work the way I did it. So this is just me trying the yarn method first, and it did work. It did. So I wanted to post the tutorial. So here it is. Enjoy. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I have my orange yarn and my pink yarn, and I'm just gonna show you real quick how I made the braids, just in case you guys wanted to know. So I'm gonna do that. So I have this box for a bunch of pause. So I taped it to a box for this part, which I really don't know why, because the box kept moving and I kept struggling with it. But then I realized literally just a few days ago when I started making my other yarn braid wig that you could just tape it to a desk or a piece of furniture. I taped it to my dresser and went all the way down my hallway braiding. I made a giant braid and then I would just tape it off and glue it and cut and everything. But I still want to show my progress on here as usual because I think it's helpful and I want you guys to know to not do this. Tape it to like a desk or a piece of furniture. And also braid it super long. I would braid it and then make little ones and like just, I don't even know what I did. But just make a super long one and tape it off and cut them and then glue them. That's the way to go. Things for my shop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the box and I'm going to cut out 6 strips of yarn to the length I want. I've been doing them really long so I could get multiple braids and not waste any yarn. So I'm going to cut those out right now. That's funny though because the braids I was making would only make 3 braids, so yeah, super long, huh? Okay, so I have my 6 long strands cut out. Okay, we have another little tip here. I should come up with a name for these little stop things. Sierras, stops, and something. I have to come up with the S word something. So anyway, I made 6 strands of this, and then I had to do 2 strands when I'm braiding, which is fine. I had no problem doing it, but if you could find a thicker yarn, you'll see in my next video. I'm not going to add it to this one because it's going to be way too long if I do. But you'll see in my next video when I make the dark hair braids for my Halsey doll that if you just get super thick yarn, then A, it makes the braids thicker, and then B, you only need 3 strands, which is easier, I think, because they don't get as twisted. Like, they'll still get twisted because they're super long, but it won't get as twisted. So there's a little tip for you. Do with that what you will. I'm going to take a piece of tape and put it over these and make sure that every single one is laid flat so they don't pull out of the tape. Like this. And then I'm going to stick it to this box. Again with the box. Don't do that. And braid it. Like if I'm making a friendship bracelet, I guess, if that's how you guys do them. I don't think I've ever made one. And that's on having no friends and being lonely. Alright? But this is how I'm going to do it. And then you just start braiding it. Okay, so I finished braiding it, and what I did was I just taped the end so I could just glue them all at once. I hope that works. But here's the braid. I make them all the same length. So like here's the top, and they're like the same length. So that's what I wanted to do. And I made them a little bit longer than I actually wanted, just so that in case they unravel, I could actually fix it. And then when you take this off, just fold the tape in so it stays down. And then start over. So I have the pieces again. And I'm going to take a piece of tape, put it on here, and stick it to the box. And then start braiding again. Again, do you see what I did? How hard I made it on myself, where I would make one and one and one and one. You could just make a super long braid and then measure the braid length that you need and tape it there, and then add another piece of tape to start, and then tape it, and then add another piece of tape. You know what I mean? I'll try and show it in my next video, just in case you don't understand, so then you could go back to that one and understand it. But that's what I mean. So that you don't have to continuously make single braids. You just sit there and braid and then measure it and tape and cut and glue. It's way easier when you make a giant braid. But always remember to do increments of 2 tapes and then cut in between the 2 tapes so you don't have a fray right there. And then at the top where we put the piece of tape over the pieces, when you're done braiding, put tape on the braid and braid that little end and then tape it. So then you have even more braid. You're welcome. So I finished the other braid, and I think I'll be able to get 2 more from this, maybe just 1, we'll see. But yeah, so I'm gonna braid it again. It literally takes no time to do it, so this is actually going pretty fast. This is pathetic. Like I say, it took no time, which at the time it didn't, but after making so many, it took a while. Again, please just make very long braids. Yeah, so this is quite pathetic to edit. I have enough to make 1 more after the one I just finished, and I have a ton of orange, and I was gonna stop 13 because that's how many pom-poms I have, but now I know why I did singles, because I was trying to meet like a number. Don't do it though. I found some more orange ones. I just don't have as many pink, so I might have to go get more pink. I just got them at the dollar store, if you guys want to know, like this. So I want to apologize for the continuous freezing and voiceover, but if you're going to buy them from the dollar store, that's fine. It saves a lot of money, but you will see in the end how many pom-poms I ended up with, since they don't sell single colored pom-pom packs. It was ridiculous. Like, I have so many pom-poms of the ugliest colors just so I could get pink and orange. Don't do that, or do it, but beware. You were warned. This is what the pink look like. Okay, I wanted them to be fuzzy. I know I probably could have just continued the braid and then somehow make the pom-pom at the end, but I want to do this. And then here's the orange one, like this, if you could see it. Probably not, but yeah. And so I have a whole bag of them, but it's 2 different packs at the dollar store full of different colors, and I had to pick them out. But I have more orange, so I think I'm going to put those in the bag and count them and make more orange, because I really want to fill this wig so it looks full and realistic. And then I also kind of want to use all of my yarn because Joann Fabrics didn't have a smaller spool, so I have 2 big things of yarn that I paid like $5 for. I want to say right here, follow me on Instagram at Fiora Outfitters, which is my Etsy shop page, and this is not just free promo. I've been starting a series of IGTVs on there, and I wanted to do one where it's like a prices versus like whatever, so like Joann's versus Dollar Store, Joann's versus Walmart, because I went to Walmart the other day, which is where I got the black yarn for my Halsey wig. That will be in my next video that I keep talking about. You're probably like, shut up. But it was only like $2 or $3 for a spool, and then at Joann's for 1 spool, like the pink one was $5 and the orange one was $5, so that was $10 there. That was ridiculous, and I have way too much yarn. So go to Walmart, save your money, just fight capitalism, eat the rich. Okay. And I love how in this clip I'm like, I hope I use all of it, but after this I didn't even put a dent in the spool. Ridiculous. And now I'm stuck with these colors. I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. So I like to use them all as much as I can. So, like this yarn, I did I braided my other doll's hair with it, and I took it out and I braided it again because I didn't like the first time, and then I didn't like it again, so I braided it again. And then I took it out. So that's how much I got for this, and I made all of these braids. Like, let me get them all here. There's so many. I made a ton of them. Here they all are. Okay, that's probably around 20, and I'm about to make one more, and then I'm going to see how many pom-poms I have, how many braids I have, make sure it all evens out, and then I will go from there. I want to do it like actual layers, like how braids are, instead of just like, you know, when you braid your doll's hair, if you're doing it, if you have I'm gonna save you this torture. You know when you braid your actual doll wig's hair from American Girl, and like the back has no hair and you just completely see the tracks in the wig cap? That's what I'm trying to say here. So I want it to be full in the back and not look like that, because that's just, ugh. It's not realistic. It looks awful. So there's that. Okay, so I have 10 more pom-poms added to the 13 I already have, so that's 23. So I have 12 braids made, which this seems like a lot more than 12, but it's only 12. So I have to make 11 more. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to switch to pink, and then I'm going to start gluing them just to see how it works before I go out and buy more pom-poms. And then that's what I'll do. So I'll switch to pink, make all the braids of the pink I have. I have quite a few pink in here. I have to say at least 15, and then I'll make those. And then we'll glue the ends. I want to burn them, but my mom said that it'll probably catch on fire, so I'm just gonna glue them. So I'll glue them, and then I'm going to get the wig cap ready, and then we're going to sew the top of them in. I hate that they kind of curl, but I guess that is what it is. But I don't know if I want them to be this long. I might end up shortening them. But yeah, I'm excited to do this, so I'm gonna finish now. Okay, so I finished making them all. So here's all of the orange that I have to go with the orange pom-poms that I have so far. Until I get more pom-poms, then I'll have to make more braids. But this is what we're gonna do for now. I have 14 pink pom-poms, so I'm going to start making the pink braids. I'm going to make 14, and then I'm going to start sewing them to the wig cap, and then I'll just go get more as I need them and make more as I need them. So I'm going to do that. So I just want to say, I didn't expect it to take so many braids, and also this was an experiment, so just expect to use like maybe 60. I still didn't count how many I used, but I would make like 60. So don't be like, oh, 13, 23, I'll make this many. I hope that's good, because then you're gonna have to keep running back to the store and then making more, and then running back and making more, and running back and making more, and then you don't really know what you're doing. So just expect to make 50 or 60, especially if you're making it as thick as this one's gonna be. If you're gonna make it not as thick, because this turned out to be very thick and layered. So if you're not going to, that's fine. That's fine. I get that. So then you can make less. But I would say make 60, even if you end up throwing some away or just filling in some bald spots at the end with them, because you're not gonna make enough, and then it'll just be harder on you. So just be prepared to make more than 23. Okay. Okay, so I finished all of the pink. I only had to make 15 because that's all the pom-poms I had. So that's all I made for now. And I came up with a better technique, which was to make just a long braid and then tape it, where I had to cut it so that I didn't have like these flat ends on it, because the braid's basically coming undone, so I have to fix it when I go to glue it, so that's not great. So next time I do it, I'm just going to keep braiding it, and then possibly just glue it right there. So see, this is where I realized that I can make a longer one. But instead of gluing it right there, just tape it right there. Tape it off. And then when you go to glue it, make sure you have a little excess after where you taped it so that you could hold that piece. Rip the tape off, glue it right there, and then cut off the excess. That's what I did. So I hope that made sense. I'm going to show you soon, I think. I remember filming it, so I hope it works. But if not, it'll be in my next video for sure. Instead of taping it, just so that it stays together, because now I'm gonna have to fix them when I glue them, which I'm gonna glue them now. They came out decent, so I'm pretty excited to do it. And then once I do that, I'm gonna start sewing them onto the wig so that I know how many I need to make for the rest of it. Okay, so I'll be back when I glue it. I'm gonna show you guys what I do when I glue it actually. So the concern on my face right before this freeze reminds me of Buck on 911. That's my favorite character on that show, but I just want to say that because it was weird how much concern I showed when I was like, actually I'm gonna show you it. Like, what? This is the best view I could get because my glue gun is not by my desk. I'm laughing so hard at this right now. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Like, I was too lazy to go unplug my lamp and plug that in over there by my desk. And then the way I said it just... okay. Like, my plug is not on my desk. So sorry that my shelf is in the way, but that's the only setup I could get. So here's the first one done with the pom-pom on the end. I glued it on, and I glued the edges, and I glued this side, and then I glued it in. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so you can't really see it, but what I did was I took the tape off the end and see how it's like coming undone. So I put it on something heavy. Okay. Yes, I put it on something heavy, which is my manic candle from Halsey that I never take out of the box because it makes me sick. Anyway, the point of this was you should tape it instead of trying to put it under something heavy. Work smarter, not harder, as my 7th grade math teacher would say. And then I start braiding it. Okay, so you can't really see it. I'm doing it in this cube. Sorry. So I took the tape off the end, and you can see that it's coming apart. So I put it under something heavy, and I'm just gonna finish braiding it. And then once you get closer to the end, or like far enough to the end, which right here, this is it for me, is right here at this point, you're gonna take it and hold it right where the last part is. Okay, that's where I'm holding it. And I'm going to take my hot glue gun, and I'm going to hold it at the end where it's all frayed, and then there put it right in between my fingers like this, and put the hot glue right over the last part, and then wait for it to cool a little bit, and then brush it down so it really stays like this, if you could. So, warning, I have had I'm 16, so I have to say maybe 11 years of hot glue experience. So I have a tolerance for it, so if you don't work with hot glue often, then do not do that, because I don't want to get sued. So, don't sue me. You have been warned. I am just used to that. I'm used to burning it. So, just wanted to pop in and say that. Okay. Yeah, so then it basically flattens it down and holds it down. And then I did it with the other side. So just put that on the other side. Okay, so that worked. Take your scissors and then take this and again brush it on the other side. And again, don't do that. Take your scissors and clip off the excess pieces, and then it'll just be flat like this and it won't come unfrayed. But to make sure that it really won't, put hot glue on the end of it. Yo, I stopped doing this after like my 23rd braid, so you don't have to. It's not gonna do anything. Right here. And again, when it's slightly cooler, just pinch it like this. No, but somebody, please tell me what's wrong with me. How can I just continuously do that? But if you do burn yourself, soak it in milk. That helps burns, like, it's miracle milk, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna do that on this end. And since it's already braided, I think I'm actually just gonna do it right here. Wow, look who got some common sense. While it's in the tape, since it's already braided, I'll just fix it right there. And then I'll show you how to glue the pom-pom on. So I'm just going to do the same thing on this end. So what I'm going to do is, since it's already taped on, I'm just going to pull the tape down a little so I could see it better and get to it more. Okay, so now I'm at the edge of the braid. So you could tell, you probably can't, but I'm at the edge of it. And so I'm gonna hold that down and take the tape slightly back. I'm just doing this while I go, so just bear with me here. Okay, so there we go. So then I could see the end of the braid, and I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. Hold it in between my fingers and then put hot glue right here at the edge of these pieces so that they could stay down. And then again, once it gets a little bit cooler, brush it out. Someone please make a meme of me brushing hot glue on my hand. Brush it out. And what I did with this one was I made a long line of thread. Like, I cut really long pieces of yarn, and then I just kept braiding them and taping them to the length I needed. And then, so I just cut off the end, and I'm going to do that. And then what I did was I just taped where I needed and cut it so that it was already braided at the ends. So I think that's what I'm going to keep doing. So there we go, and I think you guys should do that too. So here it is, and I'm just going to cut the tape off. This is what you should do from the beginning. Hold the end like I did before, but instead of pulling the tape down or whatever the heck I did, just cut the tape off while holding the end down so the braid stays together, and then put a little piece of glue right there on the end of the braid. Not the fraying piece, just the end of the braid that you could physically see where it's braided. And then either brush it or wait for it to dry, whatever you want. It's your preference. Okay, so these ones are different than the pink ones. The pink ones were more separated. These ones are much nicer, so I'm just going to try and flatten it as much as I could, and I'm going to pick the end. So I'm picking this side to be the end, and I'm going to put glue on this side of the bottom, on the actual bottom of the bottom, and then on this side. So like just all around it. And then take that, and right where you separated everything, you could see that dip. Put it right in the dip, and then hold it together, close it up so that it's on the end. And there it is. So this seems to be working out, this technique. So I'm gonna do that with like my 30 other braids and I'll get back to you. Hey, so it's the next day and I finished gluing everything last night. So I have the few pink ones and then all my orange. And I have the old wig cap in this bag. Here it is. I just have to cut off this one braid that we did. Looks absolutely atrocious. That's correct, Paz Sierra. And if you're wondering what this wig cap is from, it's from when I tried to make a Halsey wig, what this video was going to be, and then it completely changed. But I will be re-evaluating that craft, I guess, in my next video, so just stay tuned for that. But also, if you want to know how to make the wig cap, go back to my last video when I did the extension of my Halsey doll wig, because it's literally the exact same thing. I just don't glue another wig on top. I just use the wig cap I made. Okay, great. So let's cut that right off. Okay. And I'm just gonna unstitch the bottom, cut it, and then try to get all this hair off right here. I'll be back when I'm done with that. Okay, I got it off. So now what I'm gonna start doing is sewing on all of the braids, and I'm going to start at the bottom. I have to get my head out so I could put it on and then start sewing them into it. And I'm going to do like orange, pink, orange, pink, orange, pink, like a pattern. Okay, here's my doll. My voice got weird there. Here's my doll. And so I'm going to put the wig cap on her, and then we're going to start sewing the braids on. So let's do that. Okay. So there it is. It's actually pretty light. I hope it'll look good. So that's what we're gonna do. Just sew them on. So it's just as before. I just want to see where I should cut everything, because I do have to cut the back a little. So I'm gonna cut that and I'll be back. Okay, so I got it cut, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start sewing them all across the bottom edge, in that pattern. So I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna lay my doll flat just for now. I know you can't see her, but that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna start with the pink. I'm going to thread pink and orange needle and thread so that I'm set up for everything. Here's another little mistake, which you can't see and I don't actually tell you about, but after every braid I knotted it and cut it off. Just make a super long thread, and then when you're done with one braid, let it hang and do the next braid, and then go under that braid and into the new braid, if that makes sense. So that you just have a continuous line, and then you don't have to keep stopping and taking up that time to knot it and cut it and re-knot it and redo everything. So just, yeah. So, I just realized, which I don't know why I just realized it, but it needs to be shorter for the bottom pieces, so I'm going to go glue them and cut them for the ones that I want at the bottom, and then continue to do that as I sew them in. So what I meant here is that for every layer, it has to be shorter than the layer above it, so that they all meet into one spot, unless you want them to be layers, but I think it would look weird with the pom-poms, and I didn't do that. I just made it so that it wasn't super puffy and so that they met together, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So I shorten them. So now I'm gonna start sewing them on. You could probably glue them if you want to, but I want to make sure that it's really good, because if it turns out nice, then I might keep this wig on my doll. So I'm just gonna start sewing it. I have my orange needle and thread right here, and we're just gonna do it as before, coming through the back so that the knot at the end is inside of the wig, so you can't really see it. Now I'm doing it on my doll just so I know where the placement is for the first one, And I'm just coming up and going down. And I'm going to keep going through. So I know you can't see the doll, so if you're still confused, you can go to my last video where I expanded my Halsey doll's wig because it's the exact same thing, just stitching it in. So that's basically what it is if you don't understand it. Through the glue parts, it's a little difficult, but you get through it and then it's good. So I got through it a little bit. Enough so I could take it off. So this is how I'm doing it. So I'm gonna pull this up first to show you. Entangled, that would be fabulous. Okay, there we go. So here it is. You can see how it's still kind of coming off. So I'm at the top now, so I'm just gonna come right back down through like that. If you can see it, if it'll focus. I guess it's not gonna focus. But I'm gonna come up, pull, and then go back down. I'm probably gonna have to throw these needles out after because they have glue on them now. But yeah, and I'm trying to get all over it. You could probably even do this with a sewing machine if you didn't mind that. Probably could. Maybe I'll try it with my sewing machine. Okay, so it's on there pretty good now. I'm just gonna make a whole box around this so that it really stays on, and then possibly an extra, and if that works then I'm gonna do that for the rest of them instead of just miscellaneous stitches. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do a few and then I'll come back. I finished this line of them, this layer, and the square method that I was telling you about where I like sew it in a square, that worked really well. They're on nice and tight, and there are some spaces in between them. I don't know how I feel about that. Obviously I'm gonna have to not do that in the layers to come because I don't want to show the space, if you know what I mean. So that's what I'm gonna do. And it looks really good, honestly it does. They look really nice so far. I think they're so cool. I'm so excited to finish them and take pictures with them. So here they are so far. They look awesome. So I edited out a part talking about how I'm bringing it to life, and I forgot that in the first clip I was supposed to show you what it was that I was recreating. So I saw this on Instagram like last year, and I was planning to make it for Doc Month, and I didn't worry about it until like the week before Doc Month, of course. So that's what this is. So I'm gonna insert the photo here just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm gonna do the next layer. I'm going to measure them and then glue it and cut them as I need, and then I'll sew them on. The only layer that I think we're gonna use the full length is the absolute top layer, because here it is to the top, and if you see it right here, it's the exact same length. So, and that's actually a little bit longer. Like if I was to do a middle part, I'd have to cut off still a little bit. But this is the length I wanted. So that's what we're gonna do. So the next layer, I'll probably cut it to here. Wait. So like right here, if you could see it, which is just a little bit above this one. And I'm gonna try my best to not do any spaces. Or maybe I'll just fill in those spaces, you know what I mean? We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So like obviously this one will be pink, because then the next one you look at, even though this is a different layer, it'll look orange and orange. So I have to figure out the pattern. But it's gonna look so good. And yes, this one is like a little bit longer than the rest, but that's okay. I tried. So I'm gonna do the next layer, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, real quick, I cut out 2 more layers, and I realized that the extra that I used from the first layer, like the pieces I cut off, I could have just got more pom-poms, glued them on, and used that as another layer, but I didn't. So whatever. So I have these for the next 2 layers, and I didn't want it to look like a complete pattern because if you see the inspiration, it's not a complete pattern. So I did this pattern, and then I'm doing every 2. So I did 2 pink here, 2 orange, 2 pink, 2 orange, and then I'm gonna do 2 orange, 2 pink, 2 orange, 2 pink, and then I'm gonna go in with this pattern again. So every 3 I'm gonna do this pattern. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, but I have to get ready for practice, and then once I get back I'm gonna finish. Hopefully I can get this done tonight because it honestly doesn't take that long. I could just do all the layers and then sew them all in while I'm watching some Sorry Girls up in the corner here, and then be done with it. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Okay, so I got back from practice and I did another layer, if you could tell. Some of them are shorter, like this one. It's kind of choppy, but I'm hoping it'll turn out okay. But yeah, so it looks pretty good. And you can't see the spaces underneath because I overlapped them a little bit. So if you see, I did even more here because I, one, put them closer together, and then I did a different pattern. So I did 2 of each color. And then going for the next one, I'm going to do 2 orange over the pink, then 2 pink, then 2 orange, then 2 pink, 2 orange. And then I'm gonna go with the original pattern where it's like orange, pink, orange, pink, orange, pink, orange, pink. So that it's not so much of a pattern, it looks like stripes, and it's more of like just color, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm hoping it'll turn out good. I'm going to make the next layer and add them on, and then I'll be back. Okay, I finished another layer. I ran out of pink though. I have a lot of orange, but I have to get more pink pom-poms tomorrow so I can make a bunch more. But this is where we're at. So far, I sewed on the 2 other layers. So there should be 3 layers on right now. And this time, if you see at the end here, it was getting pretty spaced out and I didn't have enough pink. Like I only had 1 more for the side. So I just did the 3 here, and then I did 3 orange here. So I just filled it more. Because you can see it's very spaced out here. I don't seem to like that. So I'm going to get a ton more pink pom-poms. And make a ton more orange. I'm going to get orange as well. And then I'm going to make a bunch more pink as well. And I'm going to just fill them because if you see the inspiration photo, which I'll try to put here, the hair, she has this dark hair, so when it's like pulled back into the braids, it's dark, and this is the light, and I know the hair is not going to be pulled back because we didn't use hair, but I still don't want this to like really peek through so you see it and you're like, oh, what is that, you know what I mean? So I'm going to try my best to cover it. It looks pretty good now. Like if you look here where it is, like the wig cap stops down here. You can't see any of the wig cap. Well, maybe right here, but when this moves over and like it's nice, okay? And this would never happen if you used an actual doll wig because it would be like 3 braids in the back and then the big bald spot here. But it looks really good, honestly, and yeah, they're not all straight, but I think it actually looks pretty good because it gives it a little bit more volume. It looks like layers, so I'm okay with that. And it just looks so good to me. I'm so excited. I can't wait to finish it tomorrow. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna finish it tomorrow, but I will be making more braids and more like gluing and doing the pom-poms, and then I'll get to sewing them on. So that's exciting. So we're really close to done, actually. We probably need like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 layers. So that's good. And I don't know if I want to do a middle part or a side part. But then again, maybe we won't do a part. We'll just make it like, sew it like an actual layer, where we could also just part it. If I could seem to do that, then that's what I'm gonna do. So that it's just like there's no part, if you get what I'm saying, like the way braids actually are. So I hope that it turns out good, but I'll get back to you guys later because I'm done here for now. But it looks so good, like if you could see it there, it just looks awesome. I'm so excited. So this is so cute and I love this. I just honestly really love this. I cannot wait to finish it and take photos with it, and I think my doll is gonna have it on for like ever because it's so cool and it took a lot of work for like one photo. So here it is. But there's that. Hey guys, so it's the next day and it's actually the next night. And I got more pom-poms today, but they're on my bed so I can't try them. But I got 2 packs of each so I could pick out the orange and then pick out the pink, because they're in two separate packs for some reason. But for some reason there was more orange than pink, and I need more pink because I'm overflowing with orange braids. I still have like 10 more orange braids. So I am going to have to go back tomorrow and get another pack of pink, or 2 packs, and do that. But I'm going to make really long braids of each color right now while I lay in bed and watch Jane the Virgin, so that I can tomorrow cut them and glue them, and then glue them to the pom-poms and start sewing them in. So hopefully I can do that. I want to get this done before Monday because Monday starts school and that's the last day of this month, and then next month starts, which is doc month. So I wanted to get all this done so I could take my pictures, but I have so much to do. I have so many things that I have to do, so I'm hoping I could get this done. Okay, I just wanted to give you guys an update, so there's that. Okay, so last night I finished making some braids, pink braids. I made like 16. I just made a big long braid and then taped off and measured and taped and cut. So I'm gonna glue them now, and then I'm going to start cutting the lengths I need for the next layer. I already have a few orange cut out for the next layer, so I just need a few more pink and then a few more orange, and then I'll sew them on and then do the next layer up until I'm out of pom-poms and braids. Okay, so I'll be back when I'm done gluing. Okay, I glued a bunch of them and I'm about to stitch them in, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm probably gonna be done for the night. I might do some tomorrow, maybe, hopefully. So I'll get back to you when I'm done to see progress, and then we'll go from there. Okay, it's a little darker. It's 1 a.m. So I finished this layer. I think I might add one right here, just in the middle of these 2 layers, because the way these 2 pieces are sewn and then these ones are sewn, you just see this big bald spot. So I might just put one right here so it covers it. I put a lot just like in a row just to cover, because a lot of the spaces were there because I got better at braiding throughout this process, so the braids became tighter, as they should be, and so they're smaller and they have like way more spaces. Like if you flip all the way to the bottom ones, there's not as much space because they were so thick, but now they're thinner. So this is like, I think 5 layers, maybe 4, but I'm hoping to maybe finish the rest this weekend, just finish this wig. I have, like, when you think about it, I wanted to put that one right here and possibly one right here just to like really fill it. And then I have one more, and then I have one layer here, then another, then I'm thinking 2 more, so like 5 more layers. And for the front of it, I wanted them to just be sewn onto the front so they come back like that. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm quite excited. It looks awesome already. Here's what it looks like from the front so far, which actually is pretty awesome. I'm trying to fix it a bit. Not that far. Okay. It looks way better in person. It just looks so good. I just love it. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now because I'm exhausted. Okay, I'll get back to you guys tomorrow. Oh, I have to get more pink pom-poms because I only have like 3 pom-poms left. I have tons of orange. But, you know, orange is my favorite color, but I feel like this is just so orangey. When I look at it, now it's all pink because I added all this pink. But before, I thought it was just so orange. And I have this much orange left. So, I'm just going to go get some more pink so that I could do all the layers like that. Switch them. Okay. So, there's an update. Okay, sorry, my lamp's right here. But I got tons of pom-poms today. It's pretty late now, but I got absolute tons. And this was only 3 packs. Like, for some reason today they were just full of pink in those packs, so that's good. So I have a ton. And it's late now, so I have a few more pink here. And what I'm going to do is just make the next layer of pink and orange. And if I run out, I'll start braiding and making more. But I'm hoping what I have already made is good enough so that I could do the next layer, because Doc Month starts in like, today's the 29th, so like 3 days. So I really want to get this done because I also got a dark color yarn so I could make the longer dark haired braids. So that's what I wanted to do. So I'll update you guys when I'm done. Okay guys, so I'm back. It's been a while, actually, a few days now. I got a few layers put on. However, it's uneven in the front. So this is what it looks like. So it's very stacked. And this is what it looks like from the front. It won't really stay on, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that. Maybe tape it down. You could see that it's very uneven. Now, I could go like this. But like, then I'll have to add way more over here. I guess I could, but then this side is already here, you know what I mean? Because I was going to do a part because of the way I had to make them. But I think I'm going to try to do it like this so it's somewhat even. And then this could basically be, where is it? Right here, like the front. You know what I mean? And I'll just add more on this side and one more over here. And just continuously adding back. And then all of this, I'll just add 2 more layers right here. 2 more layers, and then the final layer and this one. So it'll look like this and then go straight back. That's what I want to do. I know I said I wasn't going to do a part, but I'm ending up doing a part, and I have to do it like this because for some reason it's uneven. It still is when I do it like this. It's not completely even until it's like this. So I kind of messed up big time. So we're just going to have to go with it. I made really big braids and I blocked them off. Like, just look at how uneven it is, and then it pops out back here. And if you try to push it down, it falls back. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's pretty good for my first one. It honestly is pretty good. I guess we're going to have to go with a part like this. I wanted it to be a part this way, like that. But it's not going to work, so it'll have to end up being this way. So that's what I'll have to end up doing. So I'm going to add those now. It's been like a few days. I'm in between classes right now, actually. Today's my first day of school, so yay, I guess. And I had online classes. So I get around an hour and a half every day in between my classes. Not every class. In between, like, I'll go to like 3 classes that have an hour and a half or an hour, 2 hours, something like that, and then go to another 2 classes, and then my day's over because they switched them. So then tomorrow, actually, since I have a lunch period, I have 3 hours off. So that's great. So hopefully I can finish this today. Since it's the first day of school, it's just mainly introduction. So I wasn't, like, I was focused and I was interacting, but I was also stitching the pieces to the wig cap. So that's what I was doing. I got a lot done. I got around 3 layers sewn in, maybe not. Probably not just this far, but you could see I added a lot, and it just like looks weird, this piece. But basically, since we're doing it this way, I'm gonna add a few more layers right here so it becomes straight, and then add 1 more layer back this way, okay, and then up this way, so it's like 2 or 3 layers here, so that the part's there. So then when I put it on the doll, it'll look more like this. And I'm going to add 1 more. Wait, it's still kind of uneven. There we go. I'm going to add 1 more on this side just so that, because I wasn't preparing for that, so it looks kind of messy. So we're going to fix it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I might add 1 on top because this is kind of just flat here, if you see what I mean. It doesn't just fall. So I might add 1 on top of this to come down. It'll work, I hope. The part just might look weird because I'm not used to my dolls having parts that side. It's always the other side. Because that's the way my hair's parted, so I like to do that. But I'm going to do it, so that's good. I have tons of them made. There's not as many now, but there was a lot before. I might still have to make more pink. I have tons of pink pom-poms left. Like, I might have like 30. But I made 30 braids the other day, and then I glued them all yesterday, and I couldn't sleep last night because I was really nervous about today, so I sewed in a layer or 2, and because, you know, put your insomnia to good use, I guess. So we'll see. This video is going to be like 3 hours long, so I really have to shorten it and just do voiceovers. So we'll see what happens there. But it is pretty uneven in spots. Could have been better, honestly. And with this, I don't know, I was expecting it to be flatter like that, but it's actually like this. So I just hope it turns out good, at least for photos. It looks okay now that I moved it to the side. Like, this is what it would have looked like if it was normal. Look how it just slants right down. So we're going to keep it like this. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to eat lunch now, and then I'm going to finish sewing stuff on, and it should actually be done today. So I'll update you when I either come to an issue, want to make a video, or I'm done. So that's what I'll do. I'm hoping I'll have enough pink. I have to add these pinks to this one side, so that counts as a layer, because the way that, if you see it here, it comes down more, so then these ones I'll just put them straight across, so that'll technically count as a layer to fill in this whole piece with these like 5 pink. And then I'll add orange here, then pink. So because I don't know if I want it to be like half pink in the front, half orange in the front, you know what I mean? Because like you have a big clump of pink and then a big clump of orange. So I think the top layer I'm gonna do how my first layer was, because I've been randomizing it, but I think I'm gonna go back to that where it's like pink, orange, pink, orange, pink, orange, pink, orange, pink, orange for the final layer for the top of the wig. Okay, so I finished a lot today. It's way later now. I finished this a while ago. I just ran out of pink because I was getting cocky with it, like, oh, I have so many, so here's a space, I'll add tons of pink here. So I made a few more to finish off the top. And I fixed the oranges that were too long so that they're not like hanging down and they look weird. You know what I mean? Cause like in the back, when it's actually flattened and like styled good, you could see that there are some that are longer, but it looks like it's supposed to be like that. So I'm okay with that. But the front I didn't like. So what I did was, you could probably see it, but I'm gonna cover it with other strands. Let me see if I can get it close. Then you could like focus on it. If you see it here, what I did was I took it and I like folded it and stitched it down. So I went like this, like I took, wait, I should probably show you on this one. So I, wait, is this another long piece? No. So what I did was I took it and I just pushed it up like this and I stitched that piece down, and that's why it's like this, and that's why it's kind of bumpy over here under this hair right here, is because I did that. But it looks better, it's not as long and weird, so that's good. So I'm ready for, I think, almost the top layer. I'm going to start doing the top layer, and then if I have space underneath it, then I'll just add pieces in as I have extras of them, or I'll make more if I feel the need. But we're so close. So I'm going to do that right now and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I finished it. I honestly don't know what I think. I think I made it too thick. Honestly, I made way too many layers and made it way too thick, because you can't even style it. Like, it's way too thick. I just know that that's not how braids are. Maybe it's just because it's short, but I think I made it way too thick. It is cool though, honestly. Sorry about that, but it is pretty cool, honestly, with all the pom-poms. But I think it's only good to be worn like this, and I don't even know what I think of it like that. I don't know. I just don't know what I think. I guess it's okay. I worked hard on it, but I don't really like it. I knew I wouldn't. At the beginning I did, but I don't know. So thanks for watching this journey, guys. I was going to put the next few wigs in this video, but I think I'm just going to end up doing different videos for them because this is going to be way too long. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, enjoyed it. If you used this process, please let me know. I'm sure other people have used it, but I don't know what I think. And let me know what you guys think. Is it okay? Am I just being an artist, or is it actually awful? Okay.